Welcome back to another episode of UpNComing. Today we have a special guest who was convicted at the age of 19 and went to prison for 40 years. This is a separate segment of UpNComing called UpNRecovered, where we go in deep dive into people's lives and how they recovered. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Russell Freeman. Most of them guys down there in the penitentiary know me, whoever it is, cops and inmates. So, yeah, I'm like 64 years old now. So, but I've been out here on the streets for about 4 years, and I think I'm doing pretty good right now. It ain't like that fake stuff you see on TV and the Shawshank Redemption. You know, that's some stereotypical bullshit most people get caught up in, and life's not like that. Out here on the streets, it's a different thing. You come out here, you gotta put your head down, go to work and pay bills, dude. And you can get whatever you want, you know. Right now, I'm in my own house. I have 4 vehicles. None of them runs right now because I broke them, but they're up and coming, so they'll be fixed soon. But things take time out here. It's not like instant macaroni, whatever. You just have to do what you need to do to make things work for yourself. So
Keep grinding, right?
yeah.
That's what it's about. So I appreciate you for coming on the show. One thing that I want to start with is, like, how was your youth?
Huh?
How was your youth? Like, growing up, like, how was your childhood?
I had a pretty good childhood. My mom and dad, they did pretty good. I don't like talking about them too much. It's too emotional. But they treated us pretty good. And my dad, when I turned 13, he told us to go get jobs. We went and got jobs as paper boys. My pops was a sergeant in the Air Force, so he didn't play. So he showed us how to do things in life, to get things right for ourselves, to prepare for the other end, so this end. But yeah, we grew up pretty decent, man. And he took care of 5 kids that weren't his, but he treated them like they were his, but he did pretty good with it. And he passed away in '83, and my mom was on her own. By that time, I wasn't there. I didn't make the Air Force myself. I tried to get in there, but I ended up in prison, so the rest of my brothers and sisters out there, they're in Denver, Colorado, but they were caught up in what most black people get caught up in, living a stupid life in Denver instead of trying to push themselves to do better. So they ended up with nothing. And in '97, my mom called me and told me that she paid the house off. And the people that were preying on the elderly people, they stole our house in like 2015 or something like that, around there. They just took the house from my mom and stole it, you know. The house was worth almost $500,000, so when you come out here, you have to do everything and get your own stuff, man. And, you know, people call me. I'm upset about it. I want to do something about it, but I can't, because the way I want to do something about it, it ain't going to be pretty. So I just move out here away from all the dumb shit. So I'm out here right now in a community that's pretty nice. You can hear kids living like we used to live when we were kids, running around playing in the park, doing all that. So right now it's just me and my puppy, so I'm good, man.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in prison, some people came in and talked to us, and they were telling us about stuff that guys do when they get out. And I told her, well, I'm not like OJ. I told him I'm not like OJ. When I get out, I'll go find the guy who's responsible for whatever and see. I'll check this fool and try to see if he's going to do what's right, you know, because there's no statute of limitations on murder. So see what he's going to do, so that way I could try to clear myself and my name and my brother's name. But when I got out, I found out he got killed doing the same fucking shit that got us sent in. And I don't know how he got away with the other stuff, because the police had him, but I couldn't tell, so, you know, we had a no snitch code, so. Because if you snitch when you go to prison, it end up being worse than whatever. You might not never get out of there, because people run up on you. They're not coming up on you to say, hey, what's up, buddy? You just kill them. That's the way it was, you know. You end up with a case. They're going to take you to court and do the case for a body, so you end up stuck in prison for the rest of your life. I've seen guys in there that went in there with 5 years, and they're never getting out.
Yeah. Is that because of the bad behavior policy that they have instated there? Or
it's not no bad behavior policy. Sometimes they came up with a classification system where they would rate guys depending on how violent they are or their crimes. So they would put you in a max, medium, minimum restricted, and minimum camps, just like that, depending on how violent your situation was. And even if you had a violent thing, but you showed signs of rehabilitation, they would move you to a lower custody classification. But back then, it was like Wild West, dude.
right.
I mean, when I went in there, it was crazy, man. So one of the older guys pulled me up, and he told me in the county jail, he says, hey, man, leave them idiots alone. He says, just hit these law books and figure out what's going on. So from that point, I just studied law every time I went in there. And then I watched all these other guys come in to the facilities for years, and they come in and they're all trying to be big dogs. I'm Mr. Gangster, G-Dog, Puffy Puff Puff, Killer Woof Woof from OG 34. They don't even own the hood no more. They took you out of your hood, dude. They took your hood from you. You don't even have a hood. And they got like the white guys are 211s, and it's stupid. But I just stayed away from all that. I didn't want none of that towards me, so I would just take my butt to the law library. There was a couple of instances, some of the guys came to me and asked me and literally paid me to help get them back in the court. And I got that good enough at law to where I would get these guys back in the court. I told them I can't guarantee you nothing, except for I could get you back in the court, and then from there you got to go with your public defender, lawyer, or whatever.
So during your time, so you spent roughly 40 years? Is 40 years exact for how long you were in there for?
39 years, 8 months, and 22 days.
Let's say like for your first year of being locked up, what was your mental processing of everything?
When I went in there, my first year, I did a year in the county, so it geared me up. When I got to prison, it was at Territorial. It was the old Canyon City prison, and it was behind the walls. It was called Max, It was really somewhat wide open. As soon as I walked in, I seen like 3 or 4 guys that were friends of mine from the neighborhood. And the first thing they hollered down and said, "Hey, dude, he's on our team." And I looked at him like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, man, they got 8 football teams here. We got you." And so I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah." So I really trusted this guy because I threw papers with this guy. He's still in prison right now. He got out, but he ended up going back from drinking.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
He took me around and showed me to the gym, and we went to the gym, and he got me suited up with a football helmet, football pads, and everything. I got a picture in here somewhere, and we literally look like the guys off The Longest Yard.
Okay.
Serious shit, man. But the picture's black and white because they don't have. Back then, all they would take was black and white pictures.
Right.
And yeah, they had me, man. And I was sitting there, and like normally these guys, they play hero football, so you know everybody's a Michael Jordan hero or whatever. And they didn't understand really how to play team sports.
Mm-hmm.
But I was good with team sports, so when I played, it was like nothing they could do to stop me.
Yeah, just unstoppable,
But
right?
it was like we were playing teams from the street. We played like CU, Buffs. We played the Rams. We played the 76ers. They were semi-pro teams.
Yeah.
We would play semi-pro team sports in there. They would even have boxing matches. They had a boxing ring and everything in there. And normally, if you had a beef with somebody and you wanted to settle it, you could literally tell them, "Hey, let's get in the ring," punk them out in front of their partners and make them get in the ring and just beat the hell out of them. They put you these big-ass gloves on. You get tired as hell trying to fight these guys.
There was like
And it was
sport
over.
teams and like
Well,
boxing rings while in prison, or
Yeah. There was,
Okay.
there was a boxing team, a wrestling team, a baseball team, or a softball team, but they had a team and they stopped a lot of that because guys tried to escape when they went out on one of the, they took them out to the streets and them guys tried to escape a baseball team, so they said, "Oh, fuck that," you know.
right? It takes one bad apple
Yeah.
to ruin it.
So they cut a lot of that back. Plus, this one guy, he was in there talking smack to a CO. He had a beef with a CO, a correctional officer.
Mm-hmm.
The correctional officer, dude, he wasn't no punk neither. He said, "Well, let's go in the ring."
Yeah.
So he got this dude in the ring. They got in the boxing ring, and they put these 8-ounce gloves on him. They went round and round. They did like 2 rounds, but the CO broke this dude's jaw, man. He cracked him good, man. Pow!
Yeah.
And broke this dude's jaw. So, you know, dude turned around and tried to sue the state, so they stopped all contact sports.
Well, even when he was like, let's get into he was the first one to initiate it, and he still tried to sue
he talked all the smack and everything. I called the CO a punk and all this and that. And that. Dude, why don't you just leave him alone, dude?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that one thing messed it up for everybody, so there's no more, they call them intramural sports inside the prisons no more. You just do those fucking tennis and badminton and shit, like some little fluff ball.
Yeah.
So they're all turning out to be pussies.
So how was like the court proceedings before you went to prison? Like how long was it, and like what did you have to go through with the court proceedings?
Well, I went through a trial. My trial lasted a whole week. From 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening for a whole week, and I think they deliberated on it. But I was in Jefferson County in Lakewood in Colorado, and it was all white people on the jury. There was no other kind of nationality on the jury, but 2 white people got killed behind their cars, and because we didn't say anything. We were it.
Yeah. So they got killed after like the court trial?
No,
Is that what you're talking about?
no, the people, they started something in Colorado. It was a sting operation. It was like their second sting operation.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 people got killed for their cars. They wanted us to say who did it because the cops came to the jail. It was the Colorado Bureau of Investigations and the FBI and the LEAA that were all involved, which is the Law Enforcement Assistance Administration. They gave them $1 million to run a sting to collect stolen goods.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't follow all the rules that they were combined with, because I even got some Senate rules, and they said if somebody ever got hurt or a third party or anything, they were supposed to shut it down. They never did that.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you were part of a sting operation?
That was a setup.
Would you mind going like more into it, like how you got, like what did you get convicted for?
Well, I got convicted for the murders of the people. They didn't even go after the car thing.
Mm-hmm.
The guy went with me to show me how he would take a car, because I met his cousin. His cousin, I knew him from Buny when I was a juvenile. He told me this is his cousin, he steals cars and this is that. So I go out with this guy this one night, he just followed this car right here, so I'm following a car. We get way out in like, I think it's Arapahoe County or Inglewood or somewhere way out there. And he gets out and literally carjacks these people for their car. But I'm with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's driving all crazy and he carjacks these people for a Mercury XR7, something like that.
Okay.
And he takes this lady's car from her. He tried to send one of them to the car with me. I wouldn't let her in my car. You know, what the fuck, dude? I'm not taking no fucking broad with me, dude. We're here to get a car, not a fucking chick.
Yeah.
So I take off. He takes off. And I guess the lady jumps out of the car with him. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy, we're going down this highway, and I literally, because I had a 72 Chevelle,
Mm-hmm.
I literally had to just get in front of this guy and pull him over, you know. And I said, here, man, drive my car. It's not stolen, so you're not going to trip. Because you're going too fast in this car, it's going to alert the police. If they run the tags, they're going to see the car is stolen, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, just drive my car. He got in my car and drove my car, and we went down there, and we ended up selling that car to them cops, but I didn't know they were undercover cops. They were undercover cops. They were running a sting operation. And when we were in there, they videotaping all this shit on a BHS, Betamax, or whatever that fucking shit was called back in the day. And
were you suspicious at all that it could have been undercover?
No, I'm a young punk. I don't know no shit.
Yeah. So you didn't see like any signs that
No,
it was a
no.
possibility?
I thought they were some cool ass white dudes from fucking California hooked up with the mafia or some shit.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the way they came off. And because I had sold a car to him once before, but the car I took to him came off of Vista Lincoln Mercury's parking lot. I took this car off the fucking lot. It was brand new. I had to tear plastic off the dashboard just to take the car. I mean, it had like 6 miles on it, you know, and when I took it to them, it had 300 something miles on it, 'cause I went traveling in it.
Right.
But it was a 79 Lincoln Town car. It was nice, man. But I had previous dealings with him, so I told this dude, hey, so I ended up getting a second-degree kidnapping out of that case, because dude told me that they were going to file first-degree kidnapping charges on me that carried a 20-year to life sentence. Uh,
Is this because of the woman that was in the car?
yeah. When that dude took that woman out of her house and took her keys and everything, put her in the car, that was all a kidnapping case. When we get in the courtroom and we're sitting out here, this woman, they try to get her to identify me as the guy who came in there and got her. And she couldn't identify me as that person. I mean, even with this little scar up here and the one I had here. And my lawyer said, "You didn't see these on it?" She says, "No, I didn't see that." And they said, "Well, what did you see?" And she said, "I just saw the gun he pointed at me, and this dude picked up a gun. Is this the gun?" And then she pointed it at her face and said, "Yeah, come on."
She's sitting there pointing the gun at her face?
Really? That's what you see? Come on,
Yeah.
man. That could be any gun. So
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is stupid here. So when I talked to my lawyer, he says, "Well, they're offering you a deal if you plead to a second-degree kidnapping and an aggravated robbery." And I said, "How much is the second-degree kidnapping?" He said, "It's a 2 to 4, and aggravated robbery is a 4 to 8. So he said, all you do is 4 years on it, and you probably get less than that with good time and all that." So I went ahead and pled guilty to that just to get out of there, because it was like, you know, we go to the courtroom and it's like, ooh, I'm like, oh God. You know, out here in Arapahoe County, it wasn't good for black people
Yeah.
at that time. So, I mean, Colorado has some big time racial issues with shit. So they don't care what you look like. If you're black, you're it, you know. I've literally seen them arrest dudes and stuff like that for just walking down the street in a white neighborhood and they're black, you know, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So how did it lead up to 40 years of time in prison?
Well, because I pled guilty to that, then they took and tried me for the other 2 cars that were sold to the sting operation in Jefferson County, Lakewood, and those were the murder cases, and because the 2 people died for their cars, and I got 20 years to life for each one of those. But the thing about it is I read a bunch of law, and I was about ready. I could probably still do it, because although they tried to close my case, I could probably still do it and take it back into court to try to clear my name. Under the Colorado Revised Statutes, they got something called the Plan, Scheme, and Design, and it's under, I can't think of statute right now, but under a certain statute, it says it all has to be part of the same criminal episode. And they were trying to act like the sting operation didn't exist. So they tried me for kidnapping over here and they tried me for this. But all those cases were connected through that sting operation. And if all those cases are, it's a 5-part test to connect those cases. And if all those cases are connected, and which they are, then they were supposed to give me 1 trial with separate counts.
Okay.
And then all of them run together. You see what I'm saying? So, because they didn't do it, and I pled guilty to the kidnapping over here, it literally precluded them for trying me for the murders, because it was all part of the same criminal episode. And by them not doing that, under the compulsory rejoinder standard, it created a double jeopardy.
Okay.
So I'm still debating on trying to get it back in there like that, you know, which would clear me, you know, because I like hunting, you know, a lot, so I like to go hunting again.
Well, I could see why you would want to clear your name after they wrote that newspaper article about you with the entire tabs that you were collecting for the pop cans.
Yeah.
Have you seen any other backlash from
No.
all that?
Just when my brother got out before I did, and he was at the halfway house, and this one detective, he was up there He's the one who tried to talk a lot of shit in this case. His name is. He went to the halfway house and started asking, well, hey, why is this dude out and da-da-da-da, he got life sentence. And the lady told him, you don't worry about him being here. And if you come here and bother him again, we're going to file harassment charges against you. And he stayed away.
Well, I'm proud of that lady for calling him out.
She was the director of the Colorado halfway house thing, whatever it is. Colorado is Core Civic.
Civic. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, she was in charge. She's the director of that, and she was really responsible for getting most of us out of there because there was 3 of us. She got out me, my other brother, and my little brother. My other brother, she couldn't get him because he passed away in there from COVID.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So your brothers were part of this sting operation as well?
Just my one brother, just the one. Right now, he's in Oregon right now. He's a manager at the King Supers up there. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good.
So you both went to the same facility together in prison? So how did that work out? Like, what did that look like to be in prison with your brother during that time?
It was all right. We had our little spats like brothers do, but, it's...
So, like, being in prison for 40 years, like, how did you cope with the fact that you were going to be in there for, like, roughly 4 decades? Like,
well, basically what I did is I occupied myself with a lot of stuff to to push myself through. Like, when I went in there, when I got to Canyon City, I was 20 years old. So they stuck me back in Territorial, so I started playing football with my buddies back there, with the guys who I knew and I liked, that I trusted. The other people, I didn't trust nobody else there. But, because I had dropped out of school the last semester of 12th grade, I told me and my friend, I said, come on, man. He said, what's up? Well, I said, we're going to get our GEDs. And we went and got our GEDs in a couple of months. We had our GEDs by the next month, you know. So we got our GEDs, and then we went different places. They opened up that new facility, the Centennial maximum security place. They threw us in there. They didn't have no jobs or nothing for nobody. So, except for a few people, they gave them jobs, and the rest of us was like just stuck up crap city. So, most of the guys depended on their people from the streets. The other guys didn't have nobody, just muddle through. Mm-hmm. But man, it was a crazy scene, man. And it was still at a time when if the cops didn't like you, they set you up, and you would get stuck, stabbed, or whatever. And during my stint there, I literally had 3 knife attacks on me, and each one of them I took the blade from the guy, and they were like, "What the fuck?" Who is this dude? And, but
is this because they were setting you up, like the officers?
I don't know, or guys had their own little racial spats or whatever. Mm-hmm. But man, this stuff was like super crazy, dude. Cause I was at Centennial from 1981 till 87. And when I was there, I would get into fights all the time. I would win.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of a little big youngster, Plus I lifted weights all the time. I got a bunch of pictures in here and stuff too, so, Okay. So after a while they started saying, hey, that guy, leave him alone, because all the other little factions will start coming in, the little gangs and stuff. Leave that guy alone, man. That dude beat your brains out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I literally had, let's see, they threw me in the hole. I was in the hole for like 8 years. When I got out, they ended up sending me back because the cop didn't like me. They sent me to a close security facility. And this, they took all my crap from me, man. My TV, my stereo. This dude took everything from me. Just like, you just get in the room. I said, dude, really? Seriously? I mean, I'm not no punk. I'm not gonna lay down for that shit. So I filed a lawsuit against this guy, this CO, and he ended up having me moved out the facility and sent me back to Max. So when I get back to Max, that's when this guy over here, things come. I mean, you can't say it's too much coincidence not to be what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, no. They took and sent me over there, then this dude, come on, dude, you're gonna pull a knife on me behind some ice cubes? I mean, who wants to lose their life over ice cubes?
Right.
They brought an ice chest in, and everybody with our meal, we get like Kool-Aid or whatever it is in the ice chest.
Mm-hmm.
But these dudes are opening the ice chest. I don't know if you've seen their coffee cups, but I mean, come on, dude, this thing ain't clean or nothing. Hey, man, wait till everybody get their stuff in, get your ice, dude. So I told him, no, man, that's disrespectful, man. You can't be doing that. You're gonna get people sick or whatever, So this dude told me, well, he says, I got something for you. I said, okay. So right after they would lock us up, and the other guys out in the other pod would come in and take all the trays and the ice chests and everything out. They closed the door and they let us back out. When they let us back out, dude come out the cell, he got a cigar in his mouth, and he gonna try to get behind me, and I walk up these 2 stairs to go to the upper deck of the tier, and I turn around, and this dude's behind me. I said, dude, what's up? I said, you got something for me? And he go, yeah. Man,
That's when you pulled out the knife?
No, he reached. I seen him go like this and reached. I took 2 steps and put my boot right in his chest, kicked him way back in the corner, and this dude caught him and threw him back at me, and then he started swinging. And he nicked me here, he nicked me there. And the next time he overswung. I just grabbed his nuts, picked him up, and body slammed him to the ground. In the process of taking it from him, he got stabbed in the neck. Because he had it in his hand, and I was like this. And I told him, dude, let it go. I'm sitting on top of this dude. I'm like 240 pounds, dude. Really?
Mm-hmm.
You're like literally almost.
And he just wouldn't let it go?
No, he wouldn't let it go because he's stupid. So I pushed down on it and went in his neck. And at that moment, stuff started moving real slow for me. It was like slow motion.
Yeah.
Because when it went in and it came out, I could literally see dude's skin go like this, close over. So I told him, dude, let it go, man. Let it go. And he wouldn't, so I just pushed down on it again. And it came out, and I seen the blood come out in drops. And I did like this, because, the dude had like yellow eyes, so I knew he had hepatitis and all that shit. So I didn't.
Yeah, I don't want none of that.
Yeah, so after that, he jumps up and says, oh God, somebody help me. He put his hand on his neck, and I'm like, help me. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
But before...
So what were the repercussions from you stabbing him in the neck?
Nothing.
Like, you didn't see it?
Well, what happened was one of the COs came in, and people don't know, I knew this CO real well.
Mm-hmm.
Him and my dad and one of his friends were in the Air Force together.
Okay.
But he came in and he seen me, and he said, hey, Freeman. I go, what's up? He says, give me the knife. Well, I know still, period, you don't walk up on a CO with a knife in your hand. So I just slid it to him across the floor. He stepped on it, and they took and put me in the hole, and he told him, hey man, don't leave that dude in the hole for that long. He said that dude was protecting himself. That dude pulled that knife on him, and he took it from him, and they shouldn't be fucking with this dude, period, you know.
Yeah.
So I ended up in the hole. I went to the hole for like 7 days, waiting on the hearing and did all this. You know, they throw you in the hole, and then whatever happens afterward, it's like we shoot you now and then we clear it up later.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm in the hole. So I go to the hole for 7 days and I get back out, and they literally put me in this other pod. This dude is still in the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's down in the Pueblo State Hospital. I'm in this unit at Centennial called G3. They got like 16 units there. And, come on, man. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one sitting on the tier that morning in my green pants and my boots, watching the television. The door pops open. This dude comes in an orange jumpsuit with a patch on his neck. And I just look at him. I'm sitting there like this, and I'm like, oh, they want me to kill him.
Because they put him in the same cell as you.
He walked right through the door. He was like from here to there. And I'm looking at this dude like, really?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So this black CO that was up here, his name was Willie Dixon. He knocked on the window, and this dude Leslie turned around and looked at it. He said, hey man, go lock up. He locked dude up in the cell, in the empty cell. And then he told me, he said, hey man, come here. And I go to the door. He says, hey man, go pack your shit. You're moving. I'm like, man, I'm already packed up. I'm already here. Why don't you move him somewhere else?
Right.
But this dude can't go nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that facility, they have other dudes that people done did stuff to, and their buddies are there. Like, from the word was told, is this dude was diming out the 211 crew guys. They got a gang called the 211s.
Mm-hmm.
And he were diming them out at another facility because them dudes was having meth brought in.
How were they doing that? Do you know?
Go figure.
Like, is it like the typical, like, put it in a cake or some shit?
No. Go figure, man.
Okay.
Just think about it. You just,
Okay. Okay.
I mean, literally, they shake COs down.
Oh, okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down now. So, like, your time, like, in the prison, like, how did you see, like, time evolve? Like, was there, like, a reference that you could use to see time passing, or?
Man, I didn't even worry about it. I just tried to keep myself busy. I always go to the law library. I studied law. I pick up on stuff. And even when I was out crunching pop cans, I just crunch pop cans and swat the bees away. I wouldn't even worry about nothing because the bees got to get the sugar out the pop.
Right.
But,
like, did you see things change, like, throughout, like, the facility?
Yeah.
Like, new implementations?
I seen the crack epidemic, half the neighborhood come in on crack. All these dudes come in, I'm OG Doggy Pop-Up. I seen the shit with the weed. I literally stopped smoking weed in 97 because one of my buddies came in and I got this stuff called skunk. I go, what is that? I looked at the shit, it was like fluorescent green. I said, man. So I'm smoking this shit with him with some cigarettes, and he says, man, I gotta go talk to somebody. I'll be back in a little bit. And he was gone for 2 hours. I said, well, I'll make me some coffee. I was sitting on my bed. I went unconscious for 2 hours, sitting there with a empty pot. So I said,
so it just wasn't weed.
I'm not smoking that shit no more. Fuck that shit. You don't go unconscious in prison, dude, ever. So
right.
You could die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that was in 87, they moved me over to Ordway in Arkansas Valley. Well, the guy that got me moved was the property sergeant. Mm-hmm. His name was Johnny Rodriguez. And we came from the kitchen one day when we were at Centennial. He tells me, he goes, hey man, let me see your cup. And I go, what? I said, man, ain't nothing in it. And I turned it upside down. He says, bring it to me. You know, like I'm a fucking dog or something. So I just tossed it to him. He didn't touch it. He just let it hit the floor. Mm-hmm. They wrote me up on a class 1 assault on staff because he got a drop of water on his finger.
Are you serious?
That's in the fucking files in their fucking shit, man. So dude knew he fucked me around. So I went to the hole for assault on staff for a few days. When I get out the hole, this motherfucker hires me as his fucking clerk. I'm like, what the fuck? And being in charge of the clerk, I'm in charge of getting dudes their socks, drawers, t-shirts, their pants, their canteen. I have to type up all this shit. I have to do all this shit. So I'm doing all this shit. So the other guy who was his boss was a Captain Soares. He did some dirty shit to me. Because he shot at me while I was butt-ass naked in the fucking shower with that fucking nut gun. And I was like, wow, dude.
That's like the gun that shoots out like the wooden balls?
These wooden balls that bounce all over and they don't stop till they hit flesh, you know.
Yeah.
But they'll fuck you up, too.
So he shot at you when you were in the shower?
I was in the shower, but naked. He said, man, he said, I'm going to count to 3 for you to get out the shower. I said, fuck it, 3. Boom. I was like, wow, okay. So I put my hand over my nuts. I didn't want to get my little jewels messed up, so
yeah,
I said,
right.
fuck this, man. So I got out the shower with soap and shit all on me. I went in my room. I said, fuck it. I just bitch bathed in the sink.
Yeah.
You know, I said, this fucking dude's a pussy, man. But he shot at me like that. So they're opening Ordway in 87. A new facility. We go to the new facility. Rodriguez is going to be charge of the intake and receiving area. You know, the gate and cars come through and shit like that. Mm-hmm. He tells me, he goes, I need a clerk. And he told Captain Soares, I want this dude to be my clerk. He says, I know he's not going to steal my shit or he won't take nothing from me. You know, because fucking dudes in there are thieves. They'll take anything that ain't tied down, man. So I was dude's clerk. And I was there. Then in 88, they had a fucking riot. And
how did that riot, like, come to be? Like, how does a riot start in prison?
a popcorn popper and an iron.
What?
That's what the riot was about.
So, like, how were they able to, like, get everybody together to...
No, everybody comes out in the middle of the compound as a yard.
Yeah.
Like, the yard is here. All the buildings are, like, on the outside. So our yard was on the inside. So, you got people coming to, going forth to work, back and forth to the gym or whatever. I was sitting in the warden's office, or the associate warden's office, talking about my stereo, trying to get my stereo, and he tells me, hey man, I gotta let you out for a minute. He says, I gotta take care of something. And I guess they're talking to him on his radio. He heard it, I didn't. I wasn't tripping. And he set me out on the yard. So I said, well fuck, I'm gonna go down to the hobby shop, because I was in the hobby shop. I do mirror etching work and stuff, you know. So I was going to the hobby shop. So when I get down there, I told dude to let me in. He said, I can't let you in. The control center locked the door. So I said, oh, all right. So I just sat on the pot. So I hear them back here talking on the radios now. These dudes are having a riot. So I see the dude crawling up on top of the roof above the gym from where I'm at, and he got the rifle, and there's like two females with him. I guess he got, they got tear gas canisters. I see the guys in the control center loading up for the goon squad dudes to come out with their helmets and batons and little nut guns and shit to shoot at people. So I'm sitting there like, wow, this is crazy. So this guy jumps up on the pot talking about, let the revolution begin. And man, they lit this dude up and blew him off the pot. Everybody ran and scattered. So they're throwing tear gas cans. And the one lady pulled the tear gas and it fell on her up there on the police. So the sergeant kicked it off the roof. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. It's like comical. I'm sitting here watching this shit and I'm like, these dudes are... Then they're running around the cell houses trying to hide in the utility closets and stuff. I watched the CO open the door, throw a tear gas in there and close the door back and just gas them.
Yeah.
And then they come out hair smoking or whatever. Sometimes they just shoot them out. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
So you sat back and just watched a lot of things happen.
I just watched it until a C-130 flew over the facility right above me. But where I was at, above the other checkpoint, some COs was up there. I didn't know they were up there until I seen the gun fall in front of me. There was a 30-30 rifle sitting right in front of me with a scope on it. And I'm looking like, what the hell? And I look over at the other guy, he's aiming dead at me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I ain't even did nothing. So I just turned around like this and I looked at dude and I'm hearing the radio and dude's talking about, hey, weapon on the yard, weapon on the yard. He's sounding all panicky in the voice. And so I'm like this and I looked at the guy in there, his name was Murphy, and I tell him, hey, right here, and he looks up over. I heard him say, "Hey, checkpoint open, control center open, checkpoint Charlie." And he comes out, he gets the gun, he says, "Weapon secure." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" And they said, "Let him in." They let me in. I went in the hobby shop and I'm sitting there, man. I lit up a cigarette and I was smoking and drinking coffee. I was like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah. Would you say that's like one of the most interesting things that you've seen in prison?
No.
What would be the most interesting thing that you've seen?
It's just a bunch of stuff, man. I mean, I've seen where for like a good year, there was a couple of COs bringing in whatever you needed, man.
Yeah.
And you go ahead and get your mail that's under your pillow, man. I mean, everything from steroids, Anavar, guys in there getting swole. I'm like, what the hell? How did you get this fucking big, dude?
Right.
I mean, you were smaller than me, and now you're like, and
yeah.
They were doing coke. They were doing everything.
Do you think that over time, like people doing drugs in prison, like became more strict? Like, do you think, like from the beginning of when you were first there to the end, how do you think it changed the most?
They don't care, man.
Do you think it's like that still to this day, or?
They don't care.
Okay.
I mean, if you ever heard of the term where there's a will, there's a way, it's coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Up here in New York, I mean, I used to get this thing called Prison Legal News magazine about all the prisons all over and all the laws and stuff that take place. Come on, man. Up here in New York, they go shake the prison down. There's like 40 cell phones in here.
Right. Right.
Come on, man.
People getting phones in prison.
Yeah, they talk about how one guy stuck a phone cell in his butthole. I mean, how do you stretch out like that, dude? I'm like, oh my God, man, I don't even...
Especially how big phones are now today. Like, that going up your ass, that's...
Or the little flip phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're getting... If there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
I mean, some of the facilities, you know, they have a perimeter guard that drives around, but over the fence.
Yeah. They're just throwing
Chunk it over the fence. and they'll find it in the grass in the morning.
So there's like a lot of corruption in the prison
Well,
system.
not only that, it's, come on, man, you got a human factor, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
women and men don't mix.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely segregated.
No. Women COs and dudes, they'll talk a woman into anything.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So they do what they do, man. I mean, I watched a guy named Guadalupe. Real young kid came in. He had some good dope. And he told the old school guy, his name was Max. He says, hey man, you just can't do this dope like you used to do the stuff back in the day. This is a whole lot different.
Mm-hmm.
And the youngster just gave him some because he's an OG.
Yeah.
So he gives him some. The dude goes, he gets high, shoot it up. He does his little thing. So after he's come down to where he can walk, he goes, hey man, give me some more. And I'm like, he said, no man, I can't give you no more, man. No, man, give me some more. He gave the dude some more. Dude goes down and take himself out.
Like he overdosed?
This dude was in prison when I got there. And this was like in the 90s, and he OD'd and killed himself. As a matter of fact, that certain batch of dope, there was like 4 ODs in there. And even he died. The dude, Guadalupe, died in the cell. A little white dude that was his cellie. He wouldn't go in the cell. He said, I ain't going in the cell. He can't tell on it because he just said, I'm not going to the cell. So when they went to look at the cell, they see dude in the bed dead.
Wow.
These dudes in there talking about, oh, put a cold pop on his nuts and all this. That he'll come. No, dude, that shit don't work.
Right.
You need some Narcan, dude.
Yeah. Did they have Narcan to save the inmates?
They got it in the medical, but they take their time to get to you when you want to or whatever, you know.
Okay.
It's like they make a big shit out of it, so. But that was at Fremont in the 90s.
Okay.
And I watched a guy would go to work every day, and he worked in the carpenter shop with me. And no, I worked in the janitorial crew at that time. But he worked in the carpenter shop, and the dude made pretty good money because they would get bonuses for the stuff. So $50 worth of canteen is all you allowed to order every week. So dudes in there don't have nothing, so this one black dude talked to this white dude into going, stealing dudes' canteen out of his locker box.
Mm-hmm.
So dude went and took his canteen out of there, and $50 bag of canteen, and they killed this dude. And because the dude said, I'm going to get my shit back up. The dude said, man, don't go up there. Them dudes got knives. And the dude went up there, and they stabbed him like 4 times in the chest. Dude rolls off of the tier, the second tier to the first tier, gets up, walks to the cage. He's holding his chest like this, blood squirting out. And the new lady that's the CO down there, she ain't never seen no shit like this. This woman ain't never seen. This is a housewife, dude. Really? And I'm like, wow. So she's like, I says, hey, open the door. I told her to open the door because the main door was closed.
Mm-hmm.
Dude walked up the hallway, got halfway up the hallway, he was gone. He died right there. And they had us all locked up. And So the first thing they do is, Freeman. I'm like, what? They want me to come down because I'm on the janitorial crew and I was certified for blood spills. They want me to go clean up all the fucking blood in the hallway and shit. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. But that happened like several times, so. And it was just wild shit, man. It's really the Wild West down there. And there was this one dude, this little black kid, was talking shit to this white dude, this little young white dude. And the white dude's mom had just passed away. And this dude literally told dude, I'm gonna go out and dig your mom up. And
What the fuck?
I was like, who the fuck says that?
Yeah.
And dude said, I guess dude said, okay. He says, whenever I see you, I'm killing you. Dude
Did he
came,
complete the objective?
Dude came on the yard. Dude walking around like nothing ain't happening. I know he know dude was on the yard. Dude walked up and killed him.
Just like stabbed him? Just dead?
Yeah, he couldn't get over it. He was putting work in on this dude. I was like, ooh. But you see shit like that, and I'm like, what the fuck?
So you've witnessed like a lot of murder throughout your time there.
Yeah.
So how do you think that like being in prison, like growing up like throughout prison, like how do you think that affected your maturity?
It didn't affect me, no way. I don't care. That's just them dudes' problem. I'm just like, the only effect that I think it has on me is I'm very leery of people. Like when I got out and I'm up here in Denver and I got my truck and these motherfuckers that stole this truck and stripped it out, they stole my truck and stripped it out bad. My truck's sitting out here hurt, man. I got 4 vehicles and none of them work right now. But, I mean, I was ready to go kill this motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
And I stopped. I checked myself. And I told my nephew, I'm leaving Denver. Because if I stay here, some motherfucker's dead. And we had a couple of ARs with 1,000 rounds, and it wouldn't be shit to go get these motherfuckers. Because the motherfucker who stole my truck has one just like it, and he pulled up next to it and took off with both trucks. So if I ever see a truck that got my black mags on it, I'm going to get this motherfucker. I'm going to beat his ass in the street.
Yeah. So you would say like it.
I know what those tires look like because of the marks on the rims.
Okay.
The marks on the rims came from a crash I was in, and I had a '04 Avalanche, and I rode it in Kansas, and there's scrape marks on the rims, so I know what it looks like. So
If you ever see it, you're getting it.
I saw a truck over there where I worked with it, and I looked. Mines were 18-inch black mags. These were 17s. So
You thought it was yours for a second.
I rolled up on dude's truck and I was sitting there. I went and looking around at them rims. They were all smooth. They had no marks on them.
Okay.
I know they were tripping because it was like almost like a closed security parking lot, and I was in there. What the fucking dude out there looking at this truck for? They came out. I told them, "Hey man, them motherfuckers stole my truck. Got some rims just like that."
How did you react when you were finally free from prison?
No, I just said, man, I just told myself, man, you got to put your head down and go get you a job, man. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting a job. My first job was working at this place not far from the halfway house. It was called Colorado Premium. It was a meat place like this place over here. We were making hamburgers for everybody except for McDonald's and Burger King. Butcher Bot, Freddy's, anybody. We were even making taco meat.
Did the world feel surreal? Like with how technology evolved and like you see the cars? It wasn't like baffling to you or anything?
What was a trip is I was pissed because I couldn't get out that damn halfway house. The lady kept me in there for a year. But that was just me. And I've literally been back to explain to her that I was sorry for the difficulties I caused from living in there like that. But because she left me in there for a year to make sure when I got out that I'd be straight.
Yeah.
I'd have enough money for like 6 months rent and the places I got, because they know about what the rent was then. And my damn place was like 2 miles from the halfway house.
Right.
But the halfway house was in the hood, so I hear this one song these dudes sing, Scarface sings, he talks about these dudes in the hood that can't go back.
Yeah.
They don't have no hood no more. They done re-gentrified them and moved them out of the hood. They need to be claiming Green Valley Ranch now, because there ain't no more Park Hill or East Side for you.
What would you say is your goals now, like moving forward?
I need a wife and a baby, so I'm good.
That's your goals? Nice.
Just a wife and a little baby boy, and hey, I'm out. They can have all this. I'm gone.
Okay. Well, that's a good goal to have.
Either be the first or the last Freemans.
Yeah.
But I was at Ordway. They threw me in the hole, and the guy that took off in the helicopter, he used to be one of my cellies when I was juvenile. We were in Denver County.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck us up on the top tier with all the old fags and shit on the protective custody and shit because we were juveniles.
Mm-hmm.
But he was my cellie then. His name was Pat Brown. I remember him. He took off in the helicopter and shit at Ordway. I was like, wow, that's crazy. They had me in the hole then.
So he got transported, like, with the helicopter?
No, his girl stuck up a helicopter pilot to do helicopter tours, landed on the baseball field, and they jumped in the helicopter and took off.
That's like a heist right there. It's like a heist.
No, he took off out the prison. He in the helicopter. He's an escape.
Did they ever find him?
Yeah.
Oh, they found him.
He told him, he says, I'm not coming back. He was at a standoff in Nebraska with him. He says, I'm not coming back. He says, I'll give up if you make it to where I don't come back to Colorado. So they got him in Nebraska in penitentiary up there.
Did his girl get convicted of, like, coercion and
she
stuff?
got some shit too, so. Yeah.
Harboring a fugitive, right?
They took and loaded furniture up in the fucking U-Haul van or Ryder rental truck. And where are we moving to? They're like, we're moving from, you're not moving from one town to the other, you're on the run.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine the goal is just to flee the country in general.
Man, there was a whole lot smarter way to do it than that.
If you could tell the world anything of what you've experienced or what you know, what would it be?
Well, this one lady that I met she's one of my Christian pen pals, and she would write. I've been writing to these people, and they've been looking out after me, my mom, and everybody since 2000. But she told me, you can never trust man, because man will fail you, but you can always trust God. So, that's where I keep my head somewhere. The thing about it is when I got threw out my truck in this cornfield in Kansas, oh my God, man. I was laying in that cornfield, I said, wow, God, that's how this ends?
Yeah.
And, I'm there by myself. I didn't know, but my brother told me the state trooper saw my truck leave the road. He was 2 miles behind me. He said he went around the curve. He didn't see my truck, but he looked over and he seen a plume of dust pop up, and he seen my truck rolling, and it rolled all up into the cornfield. And chunked me out in there, and I dozed off at the wheel, and I woke up in intensive care, and I was in that hospital room, and all them women kept coming in there saying, "Hey, wow," they said, "God ain't finished with you yet." And I kept saying, "What are you saying to me? Why y'all keep saying that?" And I figured it out. Yeah, I gotta try to do what I need to do, but I gotta live my life for God too. So, I mean, you just gotta keep your faith, man, or you'll bite it hard. And that's all I can say, man.
Very true. I like that.
Yeah.
Put your faith in God. Well, I appreciate the interview, Freeman.
And there's a whole lot more, man.
We could probably do a part 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you for coming on and telling us a little bit about the stories and the experiences you've gone through.
Yeah, I could even show you some of those pictures too, man. I got pictures in there.
Mhm.
Truck and everything.
Okay.
It was all chunked up, man. I was like, oh my goodness. That's what it looked like.
We're good.
You want me to write up?
Yeah, we're good.
You do that for later?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.